And we are back, and we just finished 1947's The Bishop's Wife. According to IMDb, this is a rating approved with a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes. This comes to us from director Henry Koster with writing credits to Robert E. Sherwood, Leonardo Bercovici, and Robert Nathan. Sorry if I've mispronounced that name. This is the story of a very debonair angel played by the always debonair Cary Grant, who comes to Earth in answer to a prayer for an Episcopalian bishop played by Niven, who is fixated on constructing this grand cathedral in God's honor, I suppose, but in the process has neglected his wife and child. The wife is played by Loretta Young. I've never seen this from start to finish. I've seen it in bits and pieces. I think I've seen the majority of it, but this is the first time I sat down and watched it. Oh, and I should also mention we caught this on the TCM app, but it is available on several places like Freebie, Peacock, Plex, Prime Video, Roku Channel, Tubi, and to buy rent on Prime Video. So again, this is the first time I've seen it, I believe, from start to finish. I've seen it in bits and pieces, and I've seen the majority of this, but this is the first time I've seen it from start to finish. And it is a wild entry into the Christmas season movie experience.
It's a strange movie.
Yeah.
It is a strange movie for any season, to be honest.
What are your thoughts here? Tell me.
Well, when you think of Christmas movies, you think of like heartfelt.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, you can get dark. It's a Wonderful Life gets really dark.
Sure. Right from the jump.
I wouldn't say this film gets dark, but its plot points are just kind of weird.
Yeah.
First of all, you have the angel played by Cary Grant, who is just like the most charming being on the planet,
and good looking.
More so now that he has angelic power.
Yes.
And seriously, the women in this film are ridiculous. It's just as soon as he's
except for Loretta Young, she understands that she is a married woman, and she's not.
She does, but there are scenes like the scene where they're all sitting there eating dinner, and like, please pass the celery. Mm-hmm. She's like biting on it and looking at him with her eyebrows. Yeah, she's got googly eyes for him. The maid, the secretary, the everybody, the old bag.
Terrible. Mrs. Hamilton.
Mrs. Hamilton, who's suddenly Agnes afterwards.
Yes.
I mean, he changed that woman's entire personality. Yeah, and then on top of all that, it's sort of like it's like David Niven, he's praying to God, please help me with this cathedral and blah blah blah. Send me some help. And there, boom, Cary Grant just pops into his office. I'm an angel, and here's how I'm going to help you. I'm going to romance the shit out of your wife. It's just weird. It's just really weird. And I guess he learns what's important, that it's more important to, obviously, to spend time with his family and whatnot, especially if it means, because in order to build this cathedral, he was going to have to do some serious compromises with the old bag, who was like basically wanted the cathedral to just be a monument to her ex-husband.
To her late husband.
Her late husband, who apparently she didn't even love, because she was in love with the guy who wrote the harp song.
Yeah, Alan.
Yeah. Very.
But she didn't marry him because he didn't have
the money. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
She married for money, not for love. He died penniless and with nothing to his name but a song that nobody has ever heard.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even going to name the damn church after him. It was.
Well, she was going to name it after the Hamilton guy that's going to pay for it. Yeah.
But it's just a very strange story. I would never have been like, this is a Christmas tale.
This has endured.
Yeah, and this is considered like a classic.
Classic, yeah. Go figure.
I mean, it's not bad.
No, it's not
Cary
bad,
Grant's
but-
charming. Everybody's performance is great.
Yeah.
I feel like David Niven's a little bit underused.
Yes. Agreed.
It's hilarious. It's sort of like, here's Cary Grant, here's David Niven. It's
Which one are you gonna go
you're
for,
gonna
ladies?
you stand them next to each other, and it's just like, I see Cary Grant, and there's some sort of weird noodle standing next to him.
But he's British and he speaks posh. So.
He speaks posh. Yeah. Apparently he's stiff upper lipped it through this entire performance because of some craziness that went on in his life during that time.
Oh my goodness.
It's just a weird premise.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you've said. I just looked at the IMDb pages. Apparently, Cary Grant was 6 years older than David Niven. That's not even believable.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
How is that possible? David
That's so
Niven like
crazy.
smoke and do a lot of drugs or
He
something?
must have. I mean, it says that Cary Grant was born in 1904 and David Niven was born in 1910. So he had 6 years on David Niven, and he looks 20 years younger in this film.
David Niven looks like he's mid-50s.
Yes. Yes.
And apparently he was like in his mid-30s when he did this. Or mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess being a priest is tough work or something.
So having watched it now from start, so I have to be honest here and say this isn't what I would consider a Christmas classic, but because I've seen it on so many lists, I was like, I guess I got to do it. We got to sit down and watch it. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't regret the watch experience because, again, like I've said, I've seen it in chunks. I knew what was gonna happen, but I've never seen it from start to finish. So as a lover of cinema, I think it's important to give these films their due. And so I don't regret watching it. However, yeah, I don't consider this a Christmas classic. It's honestly, to me, Elf is a Christmas classic.
Yeah, and also this is kind of billed as a comedy.
Yes.
And it's not funny at all.
It's not really. I mean,
there's some lighthearted, amusing moments, but
it's not a comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I think, again, this is the 40s, so religion plays a bigger deal. Like, you could be any denomination and watch Elf. Like, Elf doesn't try to...
Yeah,
like,
it's just
a lighthearted tale about an elf named Buddy who's just trying to find his dad.
It's the more secular version of Christmas. Where
Exactly,
it's just
exactly.
Sort of, be nice to your neighbor.
Yeah, be kind.
Be kind, be generous.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. And like love your family in whatever shape or form that they come in. So it's kind of interesting because, again, this is the 40s, right? I think we're done with World War II. This is 47. So we're coming off of that. Religion is a big deal. Back then, people literally went to mass all the time. So, but it didn't feel like a religious movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some other movies. Like, there was another one that was on TCM the other day with Gregory Peck, and he was like, he lived in China. He was like a missionary, and he was also trying to construct like a little church or something. And that felt more, I don't want to say preachy, but kind of to an extent. Whereas this one was kind of interesting because you have the elements of religion, but they're sort of turned on their head. Here's this priest who, and again, he's a human being. He has his faults. He's a neglectful father. He's a neglectful husband, right? He's so consumed with this end game of, because he's now a bishop, which I guess is in a higher tier of responsibility, he's obsessed with building this cathedral to the point where he's willing to sacrifice his own familial relationships, right? And that was another funny thing. Oh, you look tired, right? And to your point, he looks 20 years older than he actually is. So there's that element, right? And then you have the Cary Grant character who's an angel, but who comes in and is basically romancing this other guy's wife.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird thing in today too, but like 1940s, a story that sort of broaches on the whole season, the holidays. So, yeah, this is a very, very strange movie. And to your point, the performances were great and stuff, but it's kind of a strange sell. And it's interesting that they repurposed it with like Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston many decades later, because this isn't like, we've talked about films that should be remade. This isn't one of them. This is one that I'm like, okay, one and done. Like, I don't need to see this again.
It's such a strange story. I don't know what it was. I mean, the message there is,
pay attention to your wife.
Well, yeah. Put that bluntly.
Before some
smooth talking angel just comes in and
Cary Grant like guy comes in
and impregnates every woman you ever met. Seriously,
even the old biddies.
Yeah, even the old biddies. They weren't all crusty anymore.
They were all
getting all juiced up.
Easy now. Easy.
Yeah, and it was weird because it was like from the get-go too.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like David Niven had much of a choice, or the angel did say, I'll go to these meetings for you.
Right.
And David Niven was like, no, I got to do it
I
myself.
have to do it myself.
But he was already charming the hell out of what's her name, the wife.
Yeah.
Even before that,
Julia.
And he's like stalking her around the city.
Yeah. He hooks up with Monty Woolley's character to kind of get some intel there.
Well, I mean, I don't think he even needs intel.
He's an angel.
He's a freaking angel. He knows everything.
Yeah. And then the end, he's basically like, yeah, I gotta go because I've never been jealous of a guy before until now.
He's like, my next assignment will be on the other side of the universe.
Yeah.
Because for the first time, I'm jealous of the mortal I've been meant to
help out.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to drop.
There was always some kind of sinisterness to him. Because, I mean, plus it's Cary Grant.
Right.
And Cary Grant, he's like charming, but there's
also a hint
there's a darkness in his eyes. He has like thick eyebrows and they're always like sort of down a bit.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Suspicion, the one that he does with Joan Fontaine?
No.
It's a Hitchcock movie, and basically he's like this guy, this ne'er-do-well who romances this woman of means, and they get married, and then she starts suspecting that he's trying to kill her. And it's funny because I think originally, I could be wrong, but I think originally he was supposed to kill her. That was the intent, but obviously this is like also like maybe early 40s Hollywood. So they had to change that around a bit. Yeah.
No, I never saw that, but yeah, you could.
Oh, but I'm sorry. But to your point.
To the back to the point, you could absolutely have, with a couple of tweaks, made this into some sort of horror movie.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with this guy who's basically omnipotent, and he seems quite pleased with that.
Yeah.
He's changing people's minds. He's just, that scene in the choir where there's just the two kids, and he's like, why don't you start singing? And they start singing, and then he just raises his hand, and the boys start coming in out of nowhere.
Yeah, like the Ice King in the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, yes. Like the Night King just raising his arms, and suddenly the rest of the choir shows up. And as they come in, each kid is just like staring at him.
Yeah. Yes.
Like they're looking at him while they're singing.
Yeah,
it's just...
Yeah. It's bizarre.
It's creepy.
You know what? I changed my mind. Actually, do remake this and make it more sinister. Yeah. Horror directors out there, please.
There's like that point in the beginning where David Niven's like, well, you could just be a demon instead.
Yes.
And yeah. Make it a demon.
Yeah. Why not? Make it a demon who's disguised as an angel. Oh.
There you go. Yeah. Just the demon comes in. He's like, I'm an angel.
Yeah.
No, you're a demon.
Yeah.
No.
Like that comic.
I'm here to make your life better.
Wink.
By taking your wife away. I'm going to take her off your hands, buddy.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to charm the pants out of everybody in this town.
Literally charm the pants
off.
By
the time I'm done, you're going to look like the tired piece of old chopped liver that you actually look like. You think you look bad now. Wait till I'm done.
I mean, not to veer off topic, but I would love for someone to do American Jesus.
Oh, that
comic.
I think weren't they gonna do that?
I've never seen it.
I thought I read somewhere
I would love to see that because that's like one of my favorite comics.
I never read it.
I own it. You bought it for me, didn't you?
I did, but where the hell is it? It's like one of those things that just got lost through various moves.
No, it's here somewhere. It's probably in the garage. But yeah, I think because that too has a sinister aspect. I don't want to give it away in case anybody wants to read it. But yeah, this was weird. This was weird.
It's a strange plot.
Yeah, it's a strange entry into the holiday season.
It's a very strange plot. It's strange that it's a Christmas movie. I mean, yeah, it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's definitely a Christmas movie, but it is not your typical, I'm learning the meaning of Christmas.
You know what I was just thinking of? We also rounded out the year last year. We did the Barbara Stanwyck, Fred McMurray movie.
Oh,
Remember the Night?
The one where she's like supposed to go to prison.
Right.
Yeah.
So that also played during the holidays, and that's why we got it in last year. But I think I even like that better than this.
Yeah, and that one had its silliness too. Yeah.
But it
I think it just
it wasn't as confusing as this.
Yeah, there wasn't. You didn't question it so much. Maybe
Right.
it's just, you know what? It's just different generations, I guess. I mean, people were just, I don't want to use the word simpler, but yeah, it was simpler motives back then. Nobody was looking for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And now we've sort of been conditioned to the point where, I mean, everybody's trying to find the conspiracy in the real world.
Yeah.
So in movies, it's just, there's got to be a twist. There's got to be some sort of gotcha moment where, Cary Grant does reveal he's Satan or something like that.
Oh my God, that would be. Oh mate, you know what? I take that back. I hope somebody does remake this. just goes nuts with it. That would be interesting. It's got to be public domain by now. Yeah, Remember the Night was from 1939. And again, The Bishop's Wife is from 1947. So almost 10 years later. Definitely very different storytelling. I think, I hate to say it, but I didn't find this satisfactory.
It was okay. It was like you said, it's just a little confusing.
Yeah.
The motivations are a bit confusing, and
I think
I don't understand why anybody would say this is a classic Christmas movie.
Yeah. I feel like Monty Woolley's wasted in this. Like he could have been eliminated completely from this story.
He was irrelevant.
He was irrelevant. I think even the cab driver Sylvester, irrelevant. Like all that interaction
he was there.
With
he
him.
was there for a bit of comedy, I think.
I guess, but still didn't really serve a purpose. I mean, if you want to tell this story, focus on Loretta Young, David Niven, and Cary Grant. I think the majority of the film focuses around Cary Grant and Loretta Young. And even to an extent, like David Niven's sort of like a side character.
Yeah.
He's not really, even though he's the one that sort of gets this whole story in motion.
Yeah, the one that's supposed to experience the change.
Right.
Like he's the guy that's at the end of the story realizes what's important.
Right. But
he is such a side character in his own story. I think it really, if you look at it and examine it, it feels like, we're having so much fun with the angel and Loretta Young.
Yeah.
Let's just show more scenes of that.
Yeah. Julia and Dudley.
Yeah. And meanwhile, David Niven, his biggest scene is when he gets his butt glued to a chair.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not the best constructed movie. The plot is kind of weird. I could see why it had so many rewrites. And like we were listening to the
Ben Mankiewicz and
Alicia Malone talk about it in the intros.
Well, his was a little bit more detailed than hers. Yeah. I would have liked to have
she
get
mentioned
the ending.
I think she's the one who mentioned that when they brought them in, they brought in Billy Wilder to punch up the scripts.
Yeah.
And you're thinking Billy Wilder.
Yeah.
Screwball comedy legend. He's the guy who basically
Legend.
made that genre of film. Yeah. And it wasn't funny. There was nothing really funny. Like, what did he actually do? And they're saying, they didn't really give them credit because of some rigmarole with taxes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then
they're like, we're doing this
in
for
my
free.
mind, it's just like, maybe he didn't get credit because he didn't really write anything.
Or he didn't want his name associated with this turkey. Maybe he thought it was going to be worse. But then I think audiences in 1947, 48 are obviously starved for entertainment and more forgiving. I think something like this is just readily accepted. It's kind of lackluster. I'm trying to think how this could have been better, and I think that I almost hate to say it, but even these Hallmark movies are better fleshed out.
They just seem like if you were going to, I mean, Hallmark movies are terrible.
Terrible, but still.
But they have a focus.
Right.
They have a focus, and this one,
it was all over the place.
I don't know if there may have been a focus, but it wasn't.
It was lost somewhere.
It wasn't one that I can really get behind, because basically it's sort of, it really is just, hey, I'm going to try and steal your wife.
Yeah.
Although I'm never going to say that.
Yes. No.
But that's.
Yeah. We'll keep it classy.
That's pretty much what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I know, and your wife is clearly becoming enamored with me.
Right. Because she's giving
me the googly eyes. Yeah. She's basically just going.
Even your kid is in love with me.
Even your kid likes me more than she likes you.
Like the kid asked for him to come and like say goodnight or something.
Yeah, you're just some old man who lives in the house now. You've become like the grandpa.
So funny.
I'm replacing you as the patriarch of this family.
Yeah. Actually, bring it back, but just go horror.
Yeah, just go horror. Make him a flat out demon and make the priest have to fight for his family or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe make him lose. Who knows? Surprise me.
Give us a happy ending.
No, it doesn't have to be happy. It's a horror movie.
Well, you get the happy ending, but then at the end, he's sort of like he's standing in front of the poor box, and he's like, yeah, everything worked out for the best, and then the big claw comes out and pulls him into the poor box. It's the last we see him. Like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Oh,
that was the most hilarious part of Nightmare on Elm Street, when the mother gets pulled through the through the little window in the door. So what do you give this?
I'm gonna give this a 6. Or maybe that's generous. Maybe I should give it a 5. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I feel ambivalent about it.
Yeah, I would probably give this a 5 too. I think there's some meat there.
Yeah.
For a remake, remake this as a horror film. You can even keep it in Christmas.
Keep it in Christmas for sure.
A Christmas horror film, because it's there.
Yeah,
you got the bones there. It's just this is just weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I'll give it a 5. You give it a 5.
5 too. Yeah. All right. I think that's it. It's playing somewhere, so if you're so inclined, I think it's going away on the TCM app today. But you can find it in other places. And I
mean, it'll be back on the TCM.
Oh, I'm sure at some point. Well, yeah, maybe closer to the end of the year. But still, I mean, it's I mean, there's better Christmas. I mean, I feel like we're going to pair this film with a Christmas classic, which is Home Alone. So that's a better storytelling experience. We also, I mean, you can also do It's a Wonderful Life, which I think is the quintessential Christmas time movie. It is lovely and sweet and still holds up. The writing in that is just knocks it out of the park. Yeah, I never not cry when George's brother is like, yes, let's toast to my brother, George, the richest man in Bedford Falls. Oh, that gets me every time. That gets me every gosh darn time. Yeah, so again, 1947's The Bishop Wife, blah, blah, blah. Again, 1947's The Bishop's Wife. Proceed at your own risk, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe you'll like it better than we did.
Yeah.
And for us, it was just average.
Yeah, it's just, there's definitely Paddington too. Yeah.
There you go.
When all else fails, search for Paddington. And that's it from us, and we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.